Alright, yeah, welcome back to some more Magic Arena, and today we're going to be playing some historic Brawl. Destiny's Child is going to be the list that we're going to be playing today, and it's built around the card, specifically the Planeswalker, Calix, Destiny's Hand, a 4-mana, 4-loyalty Planeswalker. You get to tick up and look at the top 4 cards of your library, and then you may reveal an enchantment card from among them, and put that card into your hand, the rest on the bottom of your library, in a random order. That is the primary thing we're going to be doing with Calix, so it's going to be the way that we build around this deck. So, in order to get the top 4 cards to have one of them be an enchantment, we've got to have a lot of enchantments. So that is exactly what we have. I'm not going to go into all of them, but just let it be known, we have lots of enchantments. The -3 allows you to exile a creature or enchantment you don't control and put it underneath an enchantment you control, which is great. And then the -7 returns all enchantment cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. Is pretty sweet. So within this list, we're actually going on a little bit of a sub-theme. Rather than going all net decky and just trying to build the best possible Calix deck, I'm going to be building around 2 specific cards. Those are going to be Divine Visitation and Sigil of the Empty Throne. These are 5-mana enchantments that at some point or another produce 4/4 white angel creature tokens with flying. In the case of Sigil of the Empty Throne from Historic Anthology 2, whenever you cast an enchantment, you get a 4/4. And Divine Visitation's restriction is that you have creature tokens entering the battlefield, and they get replaced as 4/4s. So we've got lots of enchantments, and a lot of those enchantments produce tokens, things like Omen of the Sun and History of Benalia. So those are going to be the 2 build-around cards. From my experience with this deck, it's a little bit hit or miss, so this is definitely not the best way to play it, but it's a way to play it, and I find it quite fun. So yeah, I'm really probably just going to leave it there, to be honest. We've got the usuals, what you'd expect, you know, some constellation cards like Cetessan Champion, Satyr Enchanter. Whenever you cast an enchantment, you draw a card, and whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield, you draw a card. So we're going to be doing the typical Enchantress thing. We do have Happily Ever After and Plane-Wide Celebration in here as a combo. So Happily Ever After needs you to have 5 colors of permanence, and Plane-Wide Celebration produces a 5-color citizen token. So that's one way that you can go about it. It's got a lot of other things that it does for it, but yeah, we're going to see if we can Happily Ever After today as well. So yeah, if you do enjoy the content, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, all that jazz. I'll see you in the games. This video is brought to you by the generous support of our wonderful patrons and channel members that you see here. If you'd like to support the channel and get access to cool content like sneak peeks, bonus videos, polls on future content, or access to a personal deck critique from myself every month, then hit the join button down below, or check out the Patreon link in the description. With all that said, let's get into the gameplay. Alright, let's have a look, see what we've got here. A lot of 3-mana or less cards against Vraska Golgari Queen. It's not the best hand in the world, but I mean, Prism Realm's likely to go on Vraska anyway, so it's like, she'll come down and kill her own enchantment. So for that reason, this hand's okay. It's got turn 3 History Benalia. We can exile a graveyard, which might be relevant. Yeah, sure. I think I'd trade this Idyllic Tutor for like a Wolf Willowhaven or something, though, ideally. I'd really like the ability to ramp into an early Calix, perhaps. Since Calix can't be killed by Vraska Golgari Queen, which let's review what this card does. 4-mana, 4 loyalty, Legendary Planeswalker. The +2 allows you to sacrifice another permanent. If you do, you gain 1 life and draw a card, so you can set lands, creatures, artifacts, enchantments, anything you want. The -3 allows you to destroy a non-land permanent with converted mana cost 3 or less, so History of Benalia's, Prism Realms, Soul Guide Lanterns, things like that. And then the -9, which we're going to be trying our hardest not to let our opponent get anywhere near, says you get an emblem with whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, that player loses the game. So essentially, our life total will not matter if they get this emblem going. So our opponent seems to be a little bit stuck on their opening hand. I'm sure they'll get there eventually. But yeah, I don't know what this Idyllic Tutor really wants to go get, to be honest. As far as enchantments are concerned, I guess we could grab like our Divine Visitation or our Sigil of the Empty Throne. That really allows us to get going. The only real answers they've got at that point are like Casualties of War and Assassin's Trophy. And we are in Historic as well, so they could have Maelstrom Pulse. So they do have answers to basically any permanent, technically. But I'm going to imagine most of their removal ends up being creature-based, which most of our creatures are tokens, so, you know, 4/4 angels and things of that nature are definitely going to be what they're contending with, at least in the late game. Come on, opponent. Yeah, so we're using arenabrawl.net to play our games today, which is a direct challenge feature, which unfortunately means that there is no no timer on our opponent's decisions, so... Hello, opponent. They've finally arrived. I think I'm going to go with the Soul Guide Lantern here, because at the moment there's not really much I can do next turn, so cracking the Soul Guide Lantern to draw a card might be relevant. I don't know how relevant their graveyard's necessarily going to be, so... Ooh, there's Omen of the Hunt. Okay. Is there a 1-mana spell? I think I've got, like, Gilded Goose in here, haven't I? I've got Alseid and Legion's Landing. Let's go for it. Why not? Let's take a shot. We've got Castle Garenbrig. Okay. So that's a tap land, which I'm not too pleased about actually firing off just yet. Merfolk Branchwalker gets to explore. Do they want a Spawn of Mayhem? They do, because if they do get Spectacle next turn, it does mean that they can actually cast that for 3 mana. So I really want to try and not let them have Spectacle. So it might be in my best interest to actually go either History of Benalia. I think it's History of Benalia, to be honest. I was thinking maybe Calix, but... not Calix. Destiny Spinner. But I think this is just fine. So now they need a removal spell, and if they have the removal spell, they don't have the mana for the Spectacle there. So likelihood is that Spawn of Mayhem's going to get stuck in their hand, essentially, for a little while. I can't see them really caring about Vraska. Oh, Spawn of Mayhem, sorry, when they can play Vraska on 4. But we'll see what happens. I mean, it almost feels like a bit of a waste of removal, though, for a 2/2 just to get him for 3 damage. See if our opponent agrees or disagrees with that. Assassin's Trophy. Really happy to get that out of the way, actually. We're going to go grab a Forest, which means Garenbrig is online next turn. So we're up to our 5 drops. So that's really good. We can now Calix and start gaining that card advantage. Opponent's going to Deadweight. And yeah, we're just really happy about everything we've just seen here. Dawn of Hope. So, unfortunately, we're 1 mana short of going Calix, Dawn of Hope, and putting the Branchwalker underneath it. Which I think is probably pretty good, since obviously the -3 is going to happen regardless, because it's going to come through combat damage and whatnot. We can do a 2-mana spell, like a Nyx Fleece Ram or a Birth of Meletis. We could actually go Idyllic Shooter for Wolfwiller Haven. I'm not entirely sure that's necessarily what I want to do. I think I'll just go Destiny Spinner for the blocker. Because if they repeat what they basically did that last turn, that's happy. That's make me happy. We got this Omen of the Hunt then as well, which allows us to do Calix with 2 mana open for Dawn of Hope, and then we can stick something underneath one of those enchantments with his -3. Looks like it might be a Spawn of Mayhem, which I'm happy for. I am going to trade. Happy to do that. Yeah. I get the impression that they think I value my Destiny Spinner more than I do. It's really not a good card in this matchup, because, I mean, what does it really do? If we're honest, it doesn't allow my creatures to be countered. That just won't happen. Alright, so let's go Calix. And we'll put Spawn of Mayhem under... Actually, cancel. Put Spawn of Mayhem under Dawn of Hope. I might end up actually cracking the Omen of the Hunt for the Scry later down the line. I'm not going to voluntarily destroy my Dawn of Hope. So let's put that under there. And then from there, we're going to be starting to tutor away at our stuff. I mean, they can go with the Vraska to minus on the Dawn of Hope now. Got Maelstrom Pulse. Okay. Really getting out all that permanent removal, which is great. So, ideally, we want Calix to actually find us a removal spell for the Spawn of Mayhem. We already have one in hand, but it's essentially reserved for Vraska. So we did find it. It's going to be the Conclave Tribunal. 4 mana means Vraska can't get back the Spawn of Mayhem. So that's what we're going to go with, I think. So, slap the Spawn under that. We've already got the Assassin's Trophy out of them and the Maelstrom Pulse, so... good stuff. And then we'll pass the turn. We might consider cracking the Cryptic Caves for the card draw there. I mean, if all they're going to do next turn is play Vraska, I don't necessarily need the card advantage, and I might just want the mana more. And there's Vraska. So there's nothing to minus on. They can only tick up, and I doubt they're going to tick up for a land draw. If they do, I can really set them back with a Prison Realm. It's going to be Knight of the Ebon Legion. Okay. Okay. So be at 5 mana. I could pretty much play anything I wanted to with Calix. But I might want another 3 mana spell. Like an Omen of the Hunt. Or a Cetessan Champion. There's lots of 3 mana spells, actually, that I could really do with. So let's tick up Calix first. Hey, Cetessan Champion, I was just talking about you. Why'd you ruin me? Why are you the way that you are? Alright, so Idyllic Shooter. We're going to lose our Calix. I don't think there's much we can do about that. So, let's go boop and boop. Oops. Add in white. I need to add green. Let's add it here. Add green, Wolf Willow Haven on the forest. So we're ramping because we're going to lose our Calix, and I might want to actually cast him next turn, and definitely ramping is one way to go about doing that. Also, Plane-Wide Celebration becomes open to us. So let's get rid of the Vraska, who's now going to cost 6 when she comes back, so they're going to need a land drop in order to recast her. We've got an Alseed. I don't think we care about an Alseed. It is a blocker for the Knight, but I'm not too concerned about the Knight, honestly. We can actually get the win with Idyllic Shooter, Happily Ever After, and Plane-Wide Celebration. I might go for that, actually. Ooh, opponent's just going for face. 0 respect for Calix, you're telling me. Yeah, I think because we've seen Maelstrom Pulse and Assassin's Trophy, I think we really want to go for that Happily Ever After win. I don't think they're going to have too many answers left in their deck for it. So, we get a Gift of Paradise. Alright. So, let's do Idyllic Tutor. Go grab Happily Ever After. We're going for it. We're gonna then play Gift of Paradise on this plains here. And then slap down a Happily Ever After. Both gain 5 life, we both draw a card. And if they get rid of any permanents, we got Plane-Wide Celebration to bring things back. So we're not too afraid of, like, giving our opponent a Casualties of War, for example. So they can only really get rid of... I guess they can get rid of 2 enchantments. They can hit a land that's got one of the auras attached to it. Eyeing up my enchantments. Very interesting. Still disrespecting Calix. I do find that quite odd, since Calix is now at a point where it can actually deal with the Knight of the Ebon Legion. I'm not going to be doing that, most likely, but it's a thing. So their way of winning is going to be through Cry of the Carnarium, Ritual of Soot, things of that nature. And I say winning, I don't know if it's necessarily winning. Alright, Murderous Rider, Calix. We are... I'm going to put you in the command zone.
Destiny draws me elsewhere.
going to put you in the command zone for the sole reason that I actually want to recast you before playing Wide Celebration, because we can use the Proliferate to ult the Calix. I think that's a line we want to take. So let's do a Johnny. Let's do Calix. Is that how I want to tap? I'll tap like that. And let's see if they disrespect Calix. We get to tick up. We might even find an answer to the knight, so we don't really care. It's going to be an Arasta. Alright. The longer we wait, the longer we're actually giving our opponent an opportunity to win. I admit that. But I kind of have never ulted Calix, so I want the opportunity to do so. If I get that ultimate, I get back Dawn of Hope, Destiny Spinner, History of Benalia, which is, like, not the greatest in the world, but it's cool, is what that is. I think they're gonna be... They haven't sent the knight at Calix so far, but... Well, I guess it's not going to change today. Okay. I actually get to even put Omen of the Hunt in the graveyard with the Scry ability. So that's some extra stuff there. 3 mana, so they've used Murderous Rider. So, I was going to say Eat to Extinction's not available and Vraska's Contempt. Alright, Murderous Rider it is. And we're going to crack this to Scry. I actually don't know what I want here. I don't think I want either of these. Alright. Oh, Elspeth Conquers Death, so cool. So, let's go plain wide celebration. Let's make sure we use the colorless specifically, because it's of no use to me. So we want to ult Calix 5, 6, 7, 8, 3 times. So we proliferate 3 times to ult Calix, and then we make a citizen token, but that needs answering, and Vraska can do it. So I actually think I proliferate twice instead to get him to his ult. And we make 2 citizens. So proliferate, proliferate. We're then going to return all enchantments from the graveyard to the battlefield. Put you back in the command zone. Bring some good stuff back. Hopefully draw the attention away from my 5/5s, which are going to win me the game. And then to get out of, like, Cry of the Carnarium range, we're going to Ajani minus and make things a little bit bigger. I'm hoping our opponent doesn't know what Happily Ever After does. And alternatively, I'm hoping they don't have 2 removal spells for our 5-color tokens. I'm not going to hover them, but those 3/3 golden tokens over there are 5 colors. And Happily Ever After... Ah, they got the answer. Ah, dang it. That's fine. For a moment, we almost lived the dream. Happily Ever After says if you've got 5 or more colors among permanents you control, 6 or more card types... Oh, maybe we actually can't get it. I don't know. I've never used this card. No, we would have had it, actually, right? Starting life... Oh, no, we need our life total higher as well. God, there's so much on this card that I really don't know about. Alright, cool. Yeah, so I guess I was working a line that was never working in the first place. White and... green. I guess. Satyr Enchanter. Gonna have to win the old-fashioned way. Arasta. Draw a card. It's an Evolving Wilds. Elspeth Conquers Death? Is that worth doing? If I crack this... I guess it's worth doing. I don't know. I don't know. Well, I guess I'm minusing a Johnny anyway. Yeah, let's just do it. Screw it. Draw a card. Got a seal away. Cool. Get rid of Murderous Rider. Cool. And pass the turn. What's our lands looking like? We got 1 plains, 2 grove, 3 caves, 4 wilds, 5 ghost quarter, 6 Garen Briggs, 7 forest. I'm just checking for Field of the Dead requirements here. Epic Downfall. Alright, so I will make a token, which is a nice free block on the Knight of the Ebon Legion. And cast down. It just does not stop. The value. Alright, well, Elspeth Conquers Death can get me back Satyr Enchanter, which is not the worst. Eventually, anyway. Not right now. Alright. Jump, jump, jump. And then we'll seal away, maybe. Undecided. This is a fun game, though. This is a fun game. Hopefully you guys are enjoying me playing suboptimally on purpose. I know some of you think that I'm somehow making lots and lots of mistakes accidentally. Not a lot of the time. I'm here to entertain. Sometimes I do make obvious mistakes. It's the way of the world. Ooh, Cetescent Champion. That is a card that I would like to draw. Alright, let's tick up Ajani, gain 3 life. Pay the 2. Cetescent Champion. Seal away the Knight. Draw a card. Oh yeah. Now we're doing it, chat. Knight of Autumn. Is there any value in keeping that in my hand? I guess there is, because I can make a Dawn of Hope token as an alternative. So yeah, like their best play appears to be Vraska minus Champion, and then I'll just get it back with Elspeth Conquers Death, which is great. And I've got the blocker for the Pelt Collector to keep Ajani alive and drawing me cards, which is a wonderful combination with the Dawn of Hope. Yeah, alright. Cool. That was a fun game. Thank you, opponent, for playing the way that you did. We didn't see anything degenerate from them. I don't feel like we played too much degenerate stuff from us. But yeah, it's a shame I didn't read Happily Ever After. But, you know, is what it is. Sweet. Oh boy, we're in for a fun matchup. Let's go. Is this hand good enough? I would say that it probably isn't going up against a Teferi, Hero of Dominaria. We don't really have any interaction, and the hand is pretty dang slow. So I'm going to take the mull on this one. And, well, we got a Satyr Enchanter. Sure, why not? Why not? Let's go for it. I don't think you can get much better than this, to be honest, in a 6-card hand. Gift of Paradise is a pretty good hit for us, honestly. So I'm going to go with Birth of Meletis here, just to thin the deck and get that land out of the way. We want to get the Satyr Enchanter down as early as possible, so Satyr Enchanter comes down, and then we'll see if we can try to get some immediate value from it before it inevitably dies. Alright. Enchanter, go. So I like the Knight of Autumn, because it gets rid of things like Search for a Scanter, which is quite useful. Negate, or whatever. Counterspell of some sort. Playing against Teferi, Hero of Dominaria, the most unfun commander to ever hit Magic the Gathering. It's not actually the case. I would argue Niv Mizzet is worse, but, you know. I like to moan, so leave me be. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to play another card that gets countered. We have to play a good card, so let's just do Idyllic Tutor. They do not have counterspells in their hand. Fascinating. Alright. Saved it for that Syncopate. What do we even want? Elspeth Conquers Death is a pretty good one. Our opponent's nicing us. Sure. We got past your counter tribal. Sigil is kind of a win. I think we just want to go for like Elspeth Conquers Death though, to be honest. It means that they can't play Teferi without having a 2-mana counterspell or waiting a lot longer, which can buy me some time. And the least likely, I think, to actually counter Calix. If they know that the follow-up card is going to be an ECD. Stone Coil Serpent X4. Okay. That's a perfect answer to both Calix and my Knight of Autumn. Wonderful. Okay. Well, I'm just going to go with Calix and Tick Up, though. We get to draw 2 cards before this dies. Prison Realm seems pretty good. So every time I can answer their Teferi, I'm going to be pretty happy. Oh, bugger! Forgot my Legion's Landing. Barely noticed it was there. Alright, so we dodged a bullet. You can actually get 3 potentially here on the activations for Calix. Now that I think about it, because I was always going to block like that. Yeah, in the back of my mind I knew about Legion's Landing because I was actually thinking of blocking the Stone Coil Serpent and taking 3 on Calix, which would make him dead next turn probably. But obviously that didn't happen. Alright, you can have... Great. You can have Turn into a Pumpkin, because everything else seems really awful. Gem Razor. Yeah. It's actually not that bad. Legion's Landing. Gem Razor to get rid of the Stone Coil Serpent and put it over. It's not a bad one. Thank you, opponent. I worked hard on that. And there's an Alseed. Alright. Which I'll play. This is where they go board wipe, though. So they're going to go get... Ooh. Okay, Oath of Teferi. So they get to play Oath. I'm assuming they just want it before Khan dies, maybe? Which seems weird, because they have the answer to keep Khan alive now already. But I've got the Knight of Autumn for the Oath of Teferi, which is pretty nice. Pretty gangster. I feel like we've actually hit a pretty good pool of cards here, to be honest. Yeah, there's the board wipe. And we got Tribunal. Yeah, we're just hitting it all. So, let's go Calix, Tick Up. History of Banali is nice pressure. I think that's what we want. So we're going to go with the Elspeth Conquers Death first. Because Teferi has the Tuck available to him, and if we play either of these two, it means that he can just tuck it and get back whatever we remove. But this is a hard exile, so we're just going to get this one out of the way right now. And deal with that Khan before they can get double activations. Oath of Teferi is a scary card. Elspeth Conquers Death, I'd argue, is also quite scary. What's it actually getting back for us? It's getting a Gem Razor as a 5/5. Or an Alseed, but I doubt it. I'm doubtful on that particular one. Yeah, I mean... Calix is going to have a reasonable pile. It's okay, you can think. I'm okay with that. Opponent's nice and polite. There's Teferi. They're going to go Tick Up, so they got 4 mana. The problem is, they're going to need a 2-mana counterspell for my Prism Realm or Conclave Tribunal, because the Elspeth Conquers Death's going to trigger here. We got Banishing Light as well. This is just amazing. Alright, so now we go Calix, Tick Up again. Whiff. We're about due to whiff like that, to be fair. Alright, and then I want to go 1, 2, 3. Gift of Paradise on this Plains. Can't have a counterspell for a Prison Realm due to that very quick priority change there. We've got the City's Blessing on Arch of Araska, which is awesome as well. And Teferi's out of here. However, temporarily. I mean, they've got Turn into a Pumpkin, but we get the Scry. Ooh, Tail's End. Okay. Nyx Fleece Ram looks like hot garbage. Okay, so what are you going to choose to do here? I'm honestly not going to be doing the ult with Calix. It just doesn't really do anything, to be honest. Gives me back 2 permanents, so... 2 permanents, and one of them's actually coming back on an Elspeth Conquers Death. I suppose the minus now actually does make sense, because the Elspeth Conquers Death's going to ult, go into my graveyard, and then I can bring it back and get rid of Teferi that way. I guess for that reason it makes sense, but yeah. Other Teferi here. Gonna flicker a land, give our opponent another activation, so they've still got the chance to actually use Teferi here to rectify a situation. Which doesn't seem to be getting rectified. Lots of mana. Alright, so we want Gem Razor with a counter, so we can get rid of that Oath of Teferi. I think we're just firing off Calix's ult now, then. Yeah, I think they missed it. Alright, so Elspeth Conquers Death gets rid of Teferi. We got protection on the Gem Razor for the Oath, but they've got turned into a pumpkin, which kind of is a really easy way of solving the Gem Razor problem. They're going to bounce their Teferi. Okay. Well, I think I don't really have an opportunity to wait on Oath of Teferi with the Gem Razor, so I think I'm going to have to just Knight of Autumn it now to be on the safe side. Yeah, they got the Essence Scatter. Okay. Well, in that case, Banishing Light doesn't do anything, really. I actually don't know what to do here. Do I play History of Benalia into what might just be a board wipe? What's Dryad doing for me right now? What's nothing doing for me right now? Yeah, let's get it played. I might actually need the pressure. So what's a Teferi minus tick up? It takes them to 2, so a token's enough to kill Teferi. If they do a minus and then tick up. They've got Realm Cloak Giant, but we've got the answer to it. This is a really great game. Really great game, opponent. For now, until I get Agent of Treachery. You know it's coming eventually. There's Teferi. I just love Oath of Teferi, to be honest. I think any deck that uses it is just awesome. Up until they run the horrible cards that make it less awesome. So yeah, they're going to draw some cards. They've got their value now. That Oath of Teferi has been bought and paid for. It's got its value. Shatter the Sky. Yep. Flamewide Celebration. And then they get to untap for 4 mana. They're thinking all blue, which means counter magic is definitely a thing. Oh. What have you got to do on my turn? Madam upkeep. Alright. Nice, perfectly timed Elspeth Conquers Death as well. So. Flamewide Celebration. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. Not really enough. Let's tick up Calix as well first. And that's a given. Omen of the Hunt's not a great hit. In fact, the cards we put to the bottom are probably a lot more ideal than that. What are we doing here? I guess we just have to go for, like, a Banishing Light onto Fairy. We've just got to keep him down. Can't attack him right now, so... yeah, if they've got more bounce, then so be it, but... Divine Visitation, you're not looking great. Not looking great at all. I'm really not looking forward to the Cleansing Nova that's going to follow very soon. I guess we'll just pass. What are we getting back with ECD? Night of Autumn, actually. It's not too bad. So, oh, they actually put it under the Banishing Light. I've just noticed that. That has to be on purpose. They've got probably a Cleansing Nova, which would be absolutely brutal. Absolutely brutal. Or maybe a Heliod's Intervention. Eugene, okay. So Eugene can minus and then tick up. Because of Oath of Teferi. It's really running rampant, is that bloody card. Yeah. So they get back to Fairy. They have to get back Elspeth, or minus on Elspeth Conquers Death. Otherwise they'll lose their Oath. Tick up. I'm not sure if they're paying attention to my graveyard. We'll find out soon enough. Yeah. And minus on it. Problem is, if they minus on it, I'll just get it with Calix and use it. So they're kind of rocking a hard place. Absolutely love to see it. Alright, so they're just going to let it happen, I think. It's probably fair. Alright, we're just going to throw out an Omen of the Hunt. Grab a basic. Shuffle in those cards that we actually kind of wanted. Like Field of the Dead. Seems pretty good. And opponent's upkeep stopping me. For what purpose are you upkeep stopping me? No purpose. Okay. Night of Autumn, please. With a counter on it that kills Oath of Teferi. Stop that nonsense. Blink of an eye, it just never stops. There's a reason for their upkeep stop. Okay. From here... have to go Calix tick up. Arasta's not the worst. Arasta Divine Visitation. They're on a 6 for the Teferi, though. So let's go Arasta. Comes down. Divine Visitation. And then, yeah, we've kind of got to go for this. We'll go after Teferi. Running out of enchantments to deal with Teferi, but we do have the Plane-Wide Celebration. That does require me to very carefully use... so that it doesn't get hit by a counter spell. Oath of Teferi. Can flicker a token to draw one of those cards if they really like. They're going to go for a land instead. Okay, and then probably another tick up with Eugene. I don't think there's much sense in them minusing to get back to Fairy when they can just do that next turn. Quite safely. I feel like we're losing this game, but I also feel like there's some really good back and forth here, so I'm really happy with this game. Banishing Light. Yeah, this is what going horrifically wrong looks like. Tick up, tick up. Or is it a tick up, tick down? I actually don't necessarily mind a Calix tick down, because then we can just replay Calix minus the Banishing Light. I'm guessing it's getting countered, though. But that might be fine. I mean, we've got Legion's Landing with Divine Visitation. It appears. There's Virtuous Cancer, so shield's not down. Because unfortunately, that just happened. Alright, Temple Garden. So we've seen the Syncope. The only other pay is going to be Spell Pierce and Thassa's thingamajig. So we can pay for both of those. It's just going to be hard counters that really get us. And I imagine they're not going to struggle to hard counter us here, to be honest. So let's just go for it. Because if this gets countered, I'm not really going to need to... Ooh, make an angel. Sweet. Command zone, please. I'm not going to need to play this untapped. Was my line of thought that I got tripped up over. Alright, so... it's going to have to all go at Eugene. I don't think I've really got a choice, to be honest. Flip the Legion's Landing, which means I can make another 4/4. Get to draw 3 cards, though. 26 in their deck. Yeah. So the fun thing is, as well, if they play a spell, I make another 4/4. Which makes me happy. So this is 3. Yes. So I'll just go Temple Garden tapped here. And then pass the turn. I'm very doubtful Visitation is going to carry me for more than a turn here. I think it's going to get removed by Eugene's minus, and then they're going to go board wipe.
We need to move quickly.
Some combination of exactly that outcome. They've got a Nazcan to flip now as well, which spells the end of this game. Isn't that right, opponent? A proliferate spell. Oh yeah, we're dead. And there's Time Wipe. So you get to proliferate off the Time Wipe. We're going to make an end step Angel to keep that Teferi from killing us, but we're going to make a Angel right now. I guess to kill the Eugene. We get to tick up.
Secrets rest before you.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, Field of Ruin. Okay, we got 4, 5, 6, 7 plus 5 mana, so we can attack, force a spell from them, perhaps. Yeah, there's Warrant. It's not a counterspell, though, which is really what I wanted to see. Because I wanted to go with the Plane-Wide Celebration here. I think I've got no choice but to go with it, to be honest. I mean, I can Calix, but... God, Calix looks so good. Yeah, I've just got to go for it, and I mean, they've got a counterspell. There's no way in hell they don't. Permanent, 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 permanent. I will take Elspeth Conquers Death. I will take Night of Autumn. I will take Divine Visitation and maybe Gem Razor. There's a lot of enchantments over there. Yeah, I mean, it's getting countered, isn't it? So, let's be honest with ourselves. It's either Banishing Light or a Gem Razor. I'll just take Gem Razor. Into the counter spell. There it is, and that will be game. You have one opponent. I will not play this out any further. Let's move on, shall we? Alrighty then, we're in, and... Ooh, sounds okay. It's not great, but it's okay. We've got Banishing Light for our opponent's commander. Wolfwillow Haven for an early Calix. But other than that, we haven't really got any pressure to put on them, which is going to be the real issue here. I mean, we can do maybe an early Night of Autumn on an Arcane Signet to slow them down, but Domri, like, built in, has this mana ability, so it's probably not going to be a thing. I think I'm just going to thin my deck now, and we'll go for a white source since we've got the Wolfwillow Haven producing the extra green there. So, grab a Plains, pass the turn. Our opponent's playing Domri, Anak of Bolas, 3 mana, 3 loyalty Planeswalker. Creatures you control get +1/+0 as a passive. And we'll put that there. Hello, opponent. The -2 also allows you to fight a creature you don't control with a creature you do control. This is kind of cool. As a Elysian Caryatid. Alright, so I think we're just going to go early Calix, because we're really going to need that pressure. We're going to have like 5 mana spells to play next turn as well, so if you can get like an Elspeth Conquers Death, that's going to be solid. Erasta, actually with the big ass booty, is going to be real good.
The patterned future appears before me.
So they've got Domri into a tick up and a 2 mana spell perhaps, or they can put pressure on Calix. Which is not a great deal of pressure anyway, because he's ticking up for the amount that he's going right back down, so I'm happy with that. I don't know what we're going to play next turn, actually. Is it Erasta or is it Banishing Light, if they do play the Domri? I guess it has to be the Banishing Light, to be honest. Since it's ramp and you've got to bolt the bird. I just don't think the Caryatid is worth the Banishing Light. Domri, on the other hand, I think is very much worth it. Oh yeah, they're taking 2 because of the passive. Of course. Of course. So Calix is a little bit pressured. Not a great deal of pressure, but a little bit. Down to 3. Ticking up. Adding green for Llanowar Elves? Nope, for nothing. Ooh, Nyx Fleece Ram as well is real good. Okay, so we'll tick up with Calix. We'll see what we find. We're not going to be ticking down. It's Conclave Tribunal. Alright. So we can do Nyx Fleece Ram plus Banishing Light. That seems good. Gain a little bit of life, have a nice big booty. And slow our opponent down. So now Calix is somewhat protected. We've got a little bit of life gain, which can combo with the Heliod nicely. Opponent might have to take the entire turn to play their Domri here, which is completely fine by me. I might even just, with Calix, hit the answer for it. Ooh, Shifting Ceratops. With haste. Yeah, that's worth a block if they go after Calix. Yep, okay. I accept that's worth the while. There's Gem Razor. So, we've kind of lost our Heliod combo to a certain extent, but not too much. Let's go with... What is the answer here? 1, 2, 3, 4. Leaves 1, 2, 3 for the Tribunal. I think I am going to have to Calix minus, to be honest. Which most likely means he's dead, but we'll give it a shot. I'm going to put him back under the Banishing Light, I think. Although spreading the love means they don't get back Domri and Wolfwillow if they find enchantment hate. I'm honestly that forgetful about the Wolfwillow Haven that I won't likely crack it. I don't expect myself to be smart enough to remember that's a card that's on my battlefield. We'll just play Erasta. It's Nyx Fleece Ram 2.0. So So whenever they cast an instant or sorcery, we're going to make some 1/2s, which block the Caryatid quite nicely. So if they were to go, like, find a creature and make a Domri's Ambush, then we've still got the blocker for the Caryatid to keep Calix alive. But, I mean, you can just go straight after Calix anyway, so... It's a bit of an odd point. Alright. Lots of mana. What can you do with it? What can you do with it? Is it just a Domri? I think just a Domri's fine. I don't know if they'd want to do that, though, because we've got the Conclave Tribunal, so we have that kind of guaranteed answer anyway. Burning Sun's Avatar. Okay, opponent or Planeswalker, so they get to kill Calix this way. And then hit a Rasta, which is irrelevant, to be fair, but, you know. It's a thing, alright. So they're big Gruul. Are we going to call it that? I think that's what we're calling it. Big Gruul. Yeah, I almost feel like we just play Calix again, to be honest. Just get him back out. If a 6-mana dinosaur is their answer to Calix, I'm feeling a little bit confident. I'll put it under the Wolfwillow Haven again. Although, double dinosaurs... No, we'll hide it here because it's really small and we'll use the UI to our advantage. Our opponent might forget about it as well, because look at it, it's really well hidden under that plains. Is this a May when it mutates? It isn't. Alright, we've got to be very careful with that then. I'm not really going to be mutating it unless I have a target, though, I don't think. I'll just play it for 4 mana. But it is something to be aware of. Come on, let my Calix live. I want to see him tick up another time. Because he's getting pretty expensive now, which is the problem with Calix. He just eats... He eats so much crap from your opponents. Which really makes this this deck a bit iffy on occasion. This can only deal to creatures, right? Yeah. Some of them have the ability to do to Planeswalkers, like Thresh Threats and Domri's Ambushes, and I think 4 mana of Vraska, not Vraska, Vivian, also has the ability to make creatures fight Planeswalkers. Goreclaw, okay. That is fine. Looks like we're getting our tick up, which is great. Eventually, maybe. We know you got playables. You're letting us know by just waiting. So this gives cost reduction by 2 to creatures with power 4 or greater, which is something that we want to stop from happening. We've got Sigil of the Empty Throne and Divine Visitation. I think we go with Sigil. Right now we don't have the token generators. So we'll play Garenbrig. We'll play Sigil. We'll play Destiny Spinner, make a 4/4. And we'll pass the turn. Almost had enough creatures for a Conclave Tribunal there on Goreclaw. But hopefully we're good for a turn. Bonder's Enclave. Alright, that's card advantage until the end of time, really. Well, actually, we got the Ghost Quarter, so it's not necessarily true. I really prefer Field of Ruin, though, to Ghost Quarter. Going down a land, just to get rid of a pesky land. It feels good in any other format, but I'm not sure about Historic and lower. So, we've got Sarkhan's Unsealing. Oof. And then 4 mana. Got a Brontodon. Yeah, that's real bad. That is real bad. Kill the Wolfwillow Haven. So we were worried about putting things underneath an enchantment in the wrong kind of way, but we've inevitably done that regardless. I think if we'd have put like Shifting Ceratops and Domri under, they would have just picked that one instead. I don't know. I don't think we really win the war of the enchantments there. Alright, so now we've got to go with something to kill Sarkhan's Unsealing, because that can't be allowed to live. Get a land. Alright, so it's either Gemrazor or Knight of Autumn here. Plus Heliod. I guess it's Knight of Autumn. I can upgrade Knight of Autumn into the Gemrazor later down the line if I really care. So let's get rid of Sarkhan's Unsealing. And we'll play the Heliod. Make a 4/4. Tis a creature as well, which is very nice. And let the beatdown begin. So, what are we tribunaling here? If anything. It's got to be the Gorklaw, I think. Everything else is blockable. We do take a big beating for doing it, though. We do get another 4/4, actually, so it's not the worst. So we'll go Knight of Autumn, Angel Token, Arasta, Mana, make a 4/4. So we've got 2 blockers. Get rid of Gorklaw for the cost reduction and the trample that he gives. And then we've got 12 flying in the air. We can give a little bit of lifelink to that as well. Feels like we've got a pretty good chance here. We know one creature's going down though, if they want to make it happen. Domri have Avatar fight something is an option. Oh, the Great Henge. Okay. Well, that gives Gemrazor a thing to do. So, let's draw another enchantment, shall we? So that we can sigil once more. Looks like they're not going to get Great Henge value at this rate. That one card there that we don't know about has to be a creature. Otherwise, they're just going to gain a little bit of life and pass the turn, essentially. Yeah, okay. So going to go for Domri fight, I think. And then we shall kill Domri, hit them, kill Great Henge. Lots of good stuff happens. So give Trample to the Ceratops if they want, but it's just going to get killed by Heliod. Soul Guide Lantern. There's a redraw. So let's... I don't think I'm Ghost Quartering the Enclave. I don't think even they know that it exists right now. We're gonna mutate the Knight of Autumn to kill the Great Henge. Make a Trampler. Oh, don't you dare have a shock. Oh, that would be brutal. Okay, kill the Great Henge. We're going to go Soul Guide Lantern. They can get reach with the Shifting Ceratops, by the way, as well. What are they likely to be able to do in their graveyard? Get back creatures? I think... Is that even possible? I mean, it's mono green, so it's like get back permanents. Yeah, just get rid of whatever. Sarkhan's Unsealing's fine. See if we can hit a 1-mana enchantment. Perhaps like Legion's Landing. Get to flip that would be nice. Nope, just a land. Okay. Alright, so let's send some stuff, shall we? Because we really need to. So this is going at Domri. That's really all we can do, right? Yeah, that's all we really can do. So they can give reach to the Ceratops if they want. Choosing not to. It's fine by me. And then we'll hold the lifelink for the blocks, maybe. I don't know. Probably should have put it on, to be honest. Gained a little bit of life and pumped up a boy. I just don't want to pump on something that might end up dying anyway. So I'd rather pump when blocks come, which I think they might end up doing. Oh dear. Oh dear, don't you be eyeing up my enchantments. Land drop, good. Good, good, good. I think that's the top deck. Come on, deck. I really just need to chain some enchantments together. I do have Calix, but then I've got nothing to do after that. I've got, like, Calix minus. We all know how that turns out. I think Banishing Light, yeah, Banishing Light's lost the last known location now, so... So we can put something underneath Banishing Light without any trouble. Cool. Good game. Alright, yeah, I think they feel like they were locked out there, which is totally fair. Yeah, I feel like they could have dug out of it though. We're on top decks ourselves, so are they. We're not that far ahead. But I guess we are producing some 4/4s that maybe they've run out of enchantment removal. And therefore they know that this is an inevitable thing that's going to happen. Who knows? Anyway, hopefully you guys have enjoyed today's video. If you have, then be sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment down below what you think of the deck, what you're going to do with Calix if you are building it yourself, and apologise for the infrequency of Historic Brawl. It is my favourite format, but unfortunately it's kind of like the hardest thing for me to record these days, so they're going to be few and far between. As much as I'd love to just make them every single day, it's just not feasible. There's too many people on Arena Brawl right now playing Meddling Mages and Golus's, and it's just stupid. Those cards are banned. Screw those cards. Stop playing them. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye-bye.